Hi, Mackenzie.
Hi, welcome back. I'm gonna get started here in a few seconds.
Okay, we have one more group.
All right, so welcome everyone and thank you for joining us for SUNY Plattsburgh's virtual open house. My name is Mackenzie and I work here in the admissions office on campus. Today we have Yang Yu and Cindy McCarty from the education department. We're going to start with a presentation and then open it up for some questions after the presentation is over. To ask a question, type it into the chat box and then I'll read it to our presenters and they'll answer it so that everyone knows what question was posed and what the answer is. So I'm going to turn it over to Cindy and Yang to introduce themselves and get the presentation started.
I'm Cindy McCarty. I'm the program leader for special education and the co-director of the Office of Student Teaching.
Hi, this is Yang Yu. I'm the department chair of childhood education and special education undergrad department. In the next few minutes, Cindy and I will give all of you a very brief introduction about the two programs in childhood education and special education. I am going to share the screen. Okay, so in teacher education, there are several education programs, and one is the childhood education first grades 1 through 6, combined special ed education birth through 6th grade. We also have a 7-12 middle high school adolescent education program. Well, let's first have some idea about the 5-year combined childhood education and special education program. Well, this program is structured in a way that students will be able to obtain a dual degree when they finish the program. That is a bachelor's degree and also bachelor's degree in childhood education, and then master's degree in special education. They are also will be qualified for teacher certificate in New York area in 4 areas. New York State in 4 areas: childhood education grades 1-6, special education grades 1-6, childhood education birth through 2nd grade, and then also special education birth through 2nd grade. Well, the program is pretty unique in a way that the students will be able to get a dual degree. That's number one. Number two, students will have the opportunity to have accumulate of more than 500 hours of a few experiences before student teaching. And then they're going to have the opportunity to work with a team of faculty members who have a wide range of expertise in childhood education, special education, literacy education, math and science and social study education, and also in technology. And they also will be able to benefit from a close relationship with a faculty member and then peers, because we have every year about 3 to 4 parallel sections of every year, meaning that the students will be enrolled in a section in a class, about 20 students. They're going to stay with this 20 students for a relatively stable period of time. They also will be working with a faculty member who is usually their advisor, who'll be working with them as long as they're in the program, like in 3-year or 4-year. Okay, so that's one of the uniqueness of the program. Career opportunities. Well, the students had in the combined program, they had a very flexible opportunity when they finish the program and go job search. They can become a regular classroom teacher, birth through 6th grade. They can be 1-6 teacher, they can be a K-6 teacher, they can be birth through 2nd grade teacher. They can also, teach in public school and in private school. And if they you're not interested, they can become a special education teacher, all those grade levels, or they can become an early interventionist if that's what they want to do. They can teach in other states. New York State's certificate is recognized in more than 4 other states and in the areas. So if you're interested, go to the website, check those particular states and areas, and then you can decide what to do. Or some of our students, they graduated here and then they moved to other states. For example, some of our students ended up wanting to get a job in Vermont, or one of my students want to move to Utah and get a job there, they will obtain a teaching certificate and then take a, find a teaching position there. Curriculum requirement. The students will complete a minimum of 150 credits. And those credits include, I'm going to go through that really very briefly. If you have questions, you can ask later. So those 150 credits include about 30, so 33 to 34 general education, so which is the core of general education for any students who are enrolled in SUNY Plattsburgh. Those courses will include math, English, usually writing, natural science, social science include the sociology, psychology, humanity, what else? Art, history. So those are the general education, the so-called liberal core. They also will be completing about 60 credits of major requirements, including foundations of education, lesson planning, social context of teaching and learning, child development, and then methods of teaching like literacy, social study, math and science, and using technology, and so on and so forth, and assessment, okay? And those are included in both the cognites and major requirements. The last part of the curriculum is 30 credits of concentration. As you can see here, the 30 credits actually has divided into two parts. The first part is the generalist content concentration, which the students will complete 15 credits or equivalent to 5 courses. They take 1 course from each of the 5 areas, such as ELA, math, science, social study, and arts. The second 15 credits, they actually can choose to focus in one area. For example, they can take 15 credits all in English, all in social study, art, or modern language, which is foreign language, or a STEM, science or math. Or they can choose to take, again, 1 course from each of the 5 areas. We call it interdisciplinary. So those are the content concentration and that related to the subject that they're going to teach. And then you're going to move the graduate study. Then there are 42 credits, but include 12 credits of student teaching. So the graduate course part is actually 30 credits. And then the students teach in the last semester, the 10th semester of the 5-year. Okay, moving to the 4-year program. So the 4-year is a very traditional education program in terms of its time, right? And for elementary education, grades 1 through 6. And apparently you will be getting a bachelor's degree, and then you'll be certified to teach in New York State. I mean, you're going to get a certification in your New York State certification for grades 1 through 6. And similar uniqueness, except that the few hours will be a little bit different because you only stay in the program for 4 years, right? The curriculum is a really very unique because it's an integrated approach. We have literacy, special ed, technology, and then all other content threaded through the courses you're taking. We also take a very collaborative approach for both teaching and learning. So for teaching, we do cohort model. A group of faculty members will be working with each other, co-planning, co-teaching, and while they're teaching the cohort courses. While students will be staying in the cohort for a relatively, a couple of years when they're taking the cohort course, usually 1 course per semester. And by the end of their undergrad year, they will build a very strong sense of community in terms of working with peers and also their professors. The undergrad course also will be serve as the foundation for our 5-year combined program because it provides all the foundational courses that the combined students need while they're taking undergrad courses. One thing that I would like to mention is the 5-year or 4-year program, the undergrad part, they are very similar. The only difference is students who are enrolled in the 5-year program will take 4 am I right, Cindy? 4 courses of a special education while they're in the undergrad stage. Career opportunity, as I mentioned earlier, students will be able to teach grades 1 through 6th grade in New York State, both public and private school. And they can also, of course, teach in some other states where New York State teacher certificate is recognized. Curriculum, the difference is that this, because it's a 4-year program, it doesn't have the graduate part. So everything else is the same. And students will be student teaching in the 8th semester, and student teaching is 12 credits. All right. I'm going to share with you a couple of pictures we took from the classrooms while students are attending some kind of extracurricular activities. Okay, so this is a conference or event related to special education. Freshman classroom, they're doing poster presentation. This was the class 2019. Again, class 2019 poster presentation, another section. This is a different section. The students are working, this group of students are working with a faculty member doing research. So this is a research group. They choose their topic of interest and guided and mentored by the faculty member. They work on it, and then they went to present at different conferences. This is the New York State Council for Exceptional Children's Conference. Okay, this is picture taken at individual poster presentation. Okay. And this is in the classroom, junior classroom. Students are taking method courses, and this is taken while they're doing reading, writing, word game sharing. Similar pictures taken. This one is the sharing time, celebrating time of a project learning, service learning project. Students working with a faculty member and then local community agencies and community members identify the needs of the community, and a small group usually will be working with a group of community members doing research, putting together resources and help the community handling the needs. So we have several community members here, as you can see. Education Resource Center is located in the Sibley Hall. So this is a picture taken in the Education Resource Center. Our graduate students are reading to children from the community. They will be coming here sometimes spring, sometimes summer. And our students will be tutoring kids, either kids who struggle or sometimes provide them enriching experiences of reading and writing. Class 2019, last year, enrolled last year, they are matriculating, and that was, I think, in September. So the picture was taken last fall. And this is our dean, Dr. Denise Samard. Well, she and also faculty member and other kids, the Sunday before class start last fall, we are there to plant a tree, kind of like to remember that, to memorize the moment that they're starting their time like a little tree. That was interesting. A couple of pictures about our students who are attending their graduation ceremony. I think this was last May. Okay, so this is the sibling hall. If you walk into the main entrance, you'll be able to see this hallway. On the left-hand side is the education main office. If you were here, you were supposed actually scheduled to be here, you should be able to see this. Several bulletin boards our students put together. This is the one when students started here. They are doing a community connection. So individual pictures of the students, where they came from, and threaded together to visualize the connection. Several other bulletin boards in the hallway. So this is the main administrative education office I mentioned just now. You can see that our administrative assistants are working there. And this is a place our students will be visiting while they're here. It's in Sibley 302. Okay, so Sibley Courtyard, and there is a cafeteria and then Starbucks. Students will be eating, or sometimes when the weather is good, they're going to eat outside. This one, I think, was 2 years ago. A duck flew into the courtyard and laid several eggs there. Several students and faculty members, they put together a temporary home for the mother duck until the little ducklings were hatched. We then contacted the university police. From there, they escorted this family to the Saranac River. I think this is it. Any questions?
I have our first questions in. So for transfer students in the childhood and special education 5-year program, who do we contact to help with registration for courses and getting a PIN code in May?
Okay, so Cindy is smiling. So if you're a transfer student, you contacted me, and I'm going to leave my email information here.
And Yang, when you leave your email information, can you make sure you change it to where it says the 2, make sure it says all panelists and attendees, just so that our attendees can get your contact information.
Sure, I think I changed that just now. I probably, all right, let me choose fall. Okay, so that's my contact information. Email me whatever questions you have. We are also going to have orientation in July. I believe some of you have already signed up for that. As for now, we still plan to run those orientation sections. So during that time, we'll be able to work with you face-to-face and help you put together the courses for your first semester. And transfer students, it's your first semester schedule is a little complicated because we need to go through your transcript and to in very detail to see how many credits you have already completed, what are the courses we can use for Gen Ed or major, so that it will make sure that you will be able to complete the program in the cost-effective way, and will also maintain your full-time status as a student and also financial aid if you take any. So we'll have those conversations later, either individual or during orientation. Okay?
So I'm going to pose some questions that were asked in our previous sessions. Is the student teaching done in 2 7-week sessions or 1 14-week session?
It's for the combined program, it's 2 8-week sections.
Great. And where can students do their student teaching?
They can do it here up in Plattsburgh all the way to the Canadian border, down Warrensburg, Glens Falls, Queensbury, Albany, Lake George, Saratoga, New York City, and the boroughs of New York City.
Can you both explain a little bit like what the difference is between the BA MST and the BS MSED?
Okay, I can explain it. Okay, so the BA MST program is adolescent education, is a combined adolescent education program. And it is for those who are interested in teaching at a level of grades 7 through 12. The program is structured that you complete your undergrad part of the study in the content department. For example, if you're a BA MSc English, then you complete your first 4 year, actually first 7th semester in the English department while taking 3 or 4 education courses. And then after that, from your 8th semester, you started to take education courses at your graduate level. Then you student teach in the 10th semester. So after you finished, you'll be able to obtain a bachelor's degree using a content area and a master's degree of teaching. So that's the BA MSc program. While the combined 5-year BS MSc program is for childhood education and special education. The dual degree is bachelor's in childhood education and master's in special education. You start from your first semester in the childhood and special education program, taking both gen ed, content, and education courses. So when you are taking graduate courses, you're also taking special education courses. When you're taking childhood education courses in the undergrad part, you're also taking special ed courses if you're in a combined program. And then you start to take special education graduate courses in semester 8, and then you student teach in the 10th semester. I hope it helps clarify. Cindy, did I miss anything?
No, that's exactly correct.
Okay.
Great. And so what would someone have to do in order to teach adolescent special education after they've completed the program?
Plattsburgh State now has a 712 certificate program that they can add on after they've completed their program of study.
Great. And what happens if a student wants to teach in states that do not have the certification reciprocity? What steps could they take to teach in those states?
Well, typically what they need to do is, if a New York teacher certificate is not recognized, they have to contact the State Department. There is a department that is specifically set up to take care of a teacher certificate. And then send their transcript. They will help the candidate decide what you need to do in order to get, or to, I mean, there are all kinds of policies in different states. They usually will tell you what you need to do to get to be certified in that particular state. Either you're going to take a certain certification test, or you need to add certain courses. Usually it's test. It varies from state to state, and then you just follow the instruction and go ahead and do it.
Great. How many students are in the dual major program?
Every year is between 70 to 80 students, and usually that's in 3 to 4 different sections. It varies a little bit, sometimes a little bit more. Like we have had, I think the largest group we got is a little over 90. And then the lowest one, I believe, is in 2014, Cindy. We got about 60, between 50 and 60.
Correct.
So that was the lowest. But now, for the past few years, we have been really very steady between 70 and 80.
Great. If you choose the 4-year, can you add on a minor in early childhood?
I would say it depends. If you're interested, we'll work with you. It depends on what major or minor you want to add. If you are transfer students, you brought in a significant amount of credits in that can be used, then it's doable to add a minor. As for major, it really depends. Keep in mind, you're completing 120 for the 4-year program or 150 for the 5-year program. That's actually average of 15 credits per semester. If you're adding another major, you're adding at least, 1 or 2 courses per semester. And you either have to take those courses in summer or winter if they offer it, or you have to extend it the year beyond 5 years. So you'll graduate here, for example, in 6 years or 7 years. So it really depends on what is your specific plan. I really don't have a generic answer to your question because it really depends.
Okay.
Right, Cindy?
Yeah, it does. It all just depends on what you bring in, and what you can handle and how you want to do it and how many courses you want to take that are not, summer, winter,
right, and
so on. So
yeah. But if you're interested, we'll work. Your advisor will work with you to find the possibilities. So if I didn't mention just now, you will be working with. You'll be assigned with an advisor who's going to start working with you the day you start in the 4-year or the 5-year program. And if you're in a BA MST program, the LS education program, you will have 2 advisors. One is your major advisor, your education major, and one is your content major advisor. But for the childhood and the special ed program, because we're doing cohort, So your cohort professor usually will be your advisor, and they are going to work with you throughout the 4-year or the 5-year. And we ended up having a really very close relationship. We celebrate all the occasions, you know, with each other, and we go to their graduation ceremony. And
Well,
anyhow,
at some point, you have almost all the professors.
Yeah. By the time you finish the program, you probably have taken courses from all your professors.
Yeah.
And they all get to know you very well.
So is there any field work that the students are involved in before the student teaching begins?
Oh yeah, I'll talk about the undergrad. Cindy, you can talk about the graduate parts. Okay, so undergrad part, there are about 400 hours of early field. We got early field hours, and that's, of course, you know, the state ed requires for about certain hours, and we're more than that. So starting from, right now is from actually from the first year, the hours started to increase. So it's kind of like a scaffolding approach. And starting from second year, they're going to work with children in an after school program in a classroom. And then, so second year and junior year, and also up to 7th semester, every cohort course had certain number of hours of a field placement that allow our students to go and work with the children at elementary school, either in the classroom or in after school program. Cindy?
And then when you hit your, actually your first, not your first graduate classes, but your 9th semester prior to student teaching, you'll be doing your practicum, which is for your birth to 2nd grade certification. And that's 6 weeks long, all day long for 6 weeks. And that is, you know, full-time, 35 regular school day at a local school or preschool.
Is it possible for students to finish this program any sooner than the 5 years?
Again, the answer is it depends. Okay. For students who start the program as a brand new freshman with less than 15 credits brought in, the answer is no. But for students who come in with above, so it's really close to 30 credits of high school or transfer credits, the answer is yes. You know, again, it's a case-by-case scenario. We'll analyze their transcript and see how many courses, what courses we can use, and to see if we can help them to move faster. Really the reason is because all the major cohort courses are scheduled. They are only offered in the spring or the fall semester. You have to take the lower level one, which is the prerequisite of the upper level one. And without that, you cannot move on in the program. So that's why it's good in a way. It prepares the students to move through the program with a very solid foundation. But sometimes it can be challenging if we have students who had a lot of credits. So really have to be creative in the way to, you know, work with them and to sort of like individualize their curriculum.
Great. And one of the questions that was posed earlier is asking if there's any coursework during student teaching.
No, there's not.
Okay. So do either of you have any final comments about the program that you want to give to our listeners?
You know, I just think it's important that people understand that we are in a teacher shortage, and working with all the administrators that I work with across New York, you know, having a more than one certificate is really looked highly upon when you apply for jobs. Our students are getting jobs, and our students are getting jobs even before they graduate. So it's something important to think about when you're looking at the combined program for sure, because you're very marketable.
In addition to what Cindy mentioned just now, I just want to elaborate a little bit about the opportunities of getting involved in the field. In addition to all those field hours built into the education and special education courses, many of our students also have the opportunity to sub in the local school district, particularly when they're getting to their senior year. They have been to, you know, several local school buildings, and they have the relationship with the school leaders and then with the classroom teachers. So before that, they probably have been volunteering there. And then, you know, the school staff and teachers, they get to know them. And when they move to the senior year, when they are taking graduate classes, and they will have a little bit more time, they're also getting more matured. They will start to sub in the local area. I think that really provides a very unique strength or niche for our students. That's one of the reasons that support what Cindy mentioned just now. Some of our students, before they graduated, they get a job because they, you know, through our partnership with the local school buildings, they actually had experience there. They get recognized as a good candidate. So they were able to get a job.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Cindy and Yang, for doing these sessions today. Definitely appreciate it. And thank you to everyone for joining us today.
Thank you.
For any sessions that anyone missed throughout the day, they're all going to be uploaded right onto our website. There are still some sessions going on throughout the day, including our admissions presentation, financial aid, campus life, and our virtual tours. If you have any more questions about this session or any sessions that you attended today, please contact us via email at admissions@plattsburgh.edu. Thank you.
Thank you.